Okay, if you have hip arthritis, I have one simple trick that's gonna help you walk better and exercise better. So let's get to it. Okay, so this simple trick is actually using hiking or trekking poles. These can be magical when it comes to dealing with hip arthritis and walking a little bit more normally, walking without that limp and finally feeling support. Now these poles are going to be the next step from using a cane. So they're not going to be as supportive as a cane, because a cane you're going to be able to put your full body weight through. These are going to not be able to support as much body weight, but are a good transition from using a cane to using no device at all. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a workout, but first that you can do with these. But first I want you to know how you can set them up. So these poles, I'm going to put a link below to this specific pair because I really like them. And you always want to use two. You can use one once you get to the point where you feel like you don't need much support, but I would always start with two just so you can get the hang of it. Now these are adjustable, so you do want to find a height that works for you. Usually the height that works is when your arm is at about a 90-degree angle, and then make sure that they are both even. When you hang on to them, there you'll see there is a little part that kind of sticks out. You want to use that to grip because it can hold a nice grip. When you grip these, you want to make sure you're at that 90-degree angle and that you can stand up nice and tall. That's another thing with these, is that they help you to stand up nice and tall, so they help with posture. Now, before we get into the workout part, I want to just show you how to use them, because the goal is to normalize your walking pattern. So when you're using them, you're going to go opposite foot, opposite pole. So I'm going to step forward with my left, and I'm going to bring the right pole forward. I'm going to step with the right, bring the left. So you're just going to continue that way. And then you're going to get to the point where it just feels pretty natural. So once you have that mastered, getting some of those repetitions, I want to actually show you a quick workout you can do that makes a good warm-up before you go start walking, because it's going to add variety. All right, let's get started with the workout. So all you're going to do is you're going to put the poles in front of you where your elbows are just slightly bent. So you're not way out here, but they're just slightly bent. All I want you to do is just step forward. Now what this is going to do is just help you get the feel for these poles, help you really kind of understand how much weight you can actually put through them. Now we're going to take those forward steps just to side steps. Now notice I'm keeping them nice and small. You can go out a little bit wider if you want to. One thing, the narrower you keep your poles when you're doing this workout, the harder it's going to be on balance. So if you're looking for a balance challenge and you feel pretty confident in your balance, then keep them narrow. If you're not super confident in your balance, taking them out a little bit wider is going to help give a little bit more stability. Stand up nice and tall. If you feel like you have to lean forward in order to get the support you need, probably would try this with a cane, or you may just not be ready for these hiking poles yet. But don't worry, because you can get there. Now, we're going from that side to side. Now we're just going to go backwards. So I'm just going to show you going backwards. So just light steps. Just start to get used to every different direction, figuring out how much weight you can put through these. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the ultimate goal with using these poles and walking more normally is that you have to get that leg that's painful, that leg that's bothering you, to tolerate more weight or more standing on one leg. So my right hip is the more painful side. So I want us to start on the opposite side. So I want you to start standing on the left, and you're going to actually step with the right. And all I want you to do is you're just going to step forward and come back. Step forward and come back. I like to start on the side that's not as painful, just so you know what to expect when we go to the other side. So we're just going to do a couple here because this should feel pretty good. Let's just do 2 more here, and then we're going to switch to the other side. Okay, now we're going to be standing on the side that's a little bit more painful. If you need to take that right pole outwards, you can, because what we're going to do is you're going to step and come back. Step and come back. Step and come back. Now again, you can move that left one out too if you do feel like you need a little bit more balance. We're just trying to tolerate that step forward. We're just trying not to lean side to side. 3, 2, and 1. Now I actually want you to stay on the side that's a little bit more painful. What you're gonna do now is you're just gonna step to the side just on that side. But use the poles, again, try not to lean forward. I want you to stay up nice and tall. We're just trying to get rid of that lean, so I really want you to try step as small as you need to in order to keep yourself upright. 3, 2, and last one. Okay, now bring those poles back to kind of that starting point. Now you're gonna stand on the left side or the side that's not as painful for you. And you're just gonna take that right leg out to the side. Now this is gonna challenge your balance a little bit. So put the poles in the appropriate position. Wider is more support. Keep that core nice and tight. And you're just kicking out to the side. 3, 2, and 1. Now you're gonna switch. So you're gonna try to put your weight on that more painful side and take that other side out. If this is hard for you, I just want you to very lightly step. But I want you to start getting used to tolerating all that weight on one leg. 3, 2, and 1. Pulls back to the starting point. Now you're just gonna march. You're just gonna lift one leg and then the other. Wider is a little bit easier. Challenge yourself by moving them in a little bit closer. Keep yourself upright. Keep your shoulders back. Try not to hunch up when you're using them. 3, 2, and 1. Last exercise right here. Sometimes the fronts of our hips can get pretty tight. So one of the things you can do is then use those muscles, but then use the muscles that are opposite. So now they're on stretch a little bit. So we're just kicking backwards. Again, if you need to, you can just lightly step if it's hard for you to put all your weight on one leg. The progression is to be able to lift and kick back without having significant pain. And then the more we can tolerate this, then the easier walking will become. 3, 2, and 1. Now last thing with these poles, one of the most important things when it comes to arthritis pain and walking is getting some variation. Our joints crave variety when we move in different directions, but in daily life, we don't necessarily do that. So one of the things is walking backwards, but please, please, please get comfortable using these poles first before you start trying to walk backwards. Make sure that you're confident in your balance and have the right support. Now, walking backwards is kind of a different coordination. It's a different challenge. So when you're doing this, you're gonna start with the poles in front. Now I'm gonna take a step back with my right, and I'm gonna take the right pole back with me. And then left, left pole, right, left, right. And then make sure that there are no obstacles in the way. Make sure that you're not going up or down an incline or have some unstable ground. So please make sure, a lot of times like long hallways work good for this because you have walls on either side too. So I'll show you one more time. You're gonna take the right leg back and bring the right pole, left leg, left pole, right leg, right pole, left leg, left pole, right leg, right pole. And so that is gonna be one way that you can actually walk backwards with these poles. Now use this workout as a warm-up to get going, to start getting some good movement and some different movement before you take off on a walk. Make sure just to stand up tall and try to walk as normally as possible. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I want you to share it with anyone who is also dealing with hip arthritis that could use an option for pain relief, because sometimes people don't necessarily know there are other options available to help with pain and to help manage pain, and so they end up getting premature surgeries and lead to more pain and really have a hard time moving around. So I want to help you keep moving and grooving. So if you enjoyed this, I would really, really appreciate it if you would subscribe to this channel, so that way you can get updates when I release new videos. Because guess what? I have lots of tips and tricks coming your way, and I wouldn't want you to miss them. Enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers to moving and grooving.